What is necessary to stop the reincarnation cycle? Already you are bored of life.
No, I'm just wondering.
Huh?
I'm just wondering what it takes to reach the transformation.
One thing, the stopping the reincarnation cycle, all these things are more or less like a philosophical. People who already lived enough, people who are bored, people who are tired, are depressed. These questions are from them, from old people. I tell you that this very question shouldn't appear in your mind. If the question appears in your mind, the first thing you need to do is to repair your mind, not to answer this question. To repair your mind, there is something lacking in your mind. So never allow this question itself to appear. You are supposed to know, ask how to live the life more joyfully. How to live the life more joyfully. How to face the life more beautifully, with more courage, with more balance, with more centeredness. So never bother about this question. The very question is from sickness. The very question, what is necessary to stop the reincarnation cycle, is from sickness. You feel sick of the life. You feel sick of taking birth and death again and again. That's not going to. The very idea that life is sickness is from elders. Just because those fools are sick, don't think that life is sick. I tell you really, life is not sick just because those fools are sick. Never think just because your father, mother fight, the life is fighting. Life is something more beautiful. In this age, catch the knack, or catch the, it is actually, even meditation is not a big thing to be done. Every day that you will close your eyes and sit and do, you are not those things. It is just a knack. Like a game, you see, first 1 or 2 days when you start playing, you have to learn. Even cycle, to drive a bicycle. First few days you have to learn. Once you catch the knack, then you can just, you don't need to do anything, just you can fly. Just like the intelligence or the life is just a knack. It is a knack. Whenever you come to low mood or low energy, whenever you feel you are stressed, you are in trouble, manage how to deal it. Learn how to manage the things. Whenever the situation forces you, whenever the life puts too much on you, or life expects too much from you, know how to manage the situation, that's all. Now, as I know what you do, you connect all your disturbances and think the whole life is nothing but disturbance. You understand? Am I right? You connect all your disturbances. When all you are disturbed, what all the moments you are depressed, what all the moments you are stressed, what all the moments you didn't feel happy. You connect all those moments and think the whole life is nothing but a big chain of stress. That is why you think how to stop the life and death cycle, how to stop the rebirth. Never think it is a simple old idea. Don't work for stopping reincarnation. Work for how to stop the depression, how to face the situation more balanced way, how to cope up with our mind. Your mind is continuously bombarded with the desires, and so much of desires are sent inside your mind from outside. Just learn the knack or the method how to work out which is right desire and wrong desire. Next, how to create the right desire. Over. Learn these simple things to live, not the great philosophical things to stop the reincarnation cycle, all these that things. Next question. What is Hinduism's stance on evolution? Whose question it is? Hinduism never accepts evolution. It says we are descendant of gods. Evolution means, according to Darwin, we grew, or we are the outcome of chimpanzee or monkey. But according to Hinduism, not only Hinduism, according to truth, we have come down from the divine level. We are not grown up from the animal level. We have come down from the divine level. Our original nature is supposed to be divine. So we are supposed to go back to that nature. One thing, if you have grown out of animal, your ideal or your forefathers, or who are your forefathers? Who are your forefathers? Chimpanzee is your forefather. Am I right? Speak out.
Well, I mean, I don't understand how you can say that you came from above, considering there's all that. How do you deal with all that factual proof that they have, where like they compare?
I'm coming to the factual proof only. But now this point you understand that if you say you are evolved from animals, but who is your forefather?
I mean, like, Hinduism stresses that like God isn't everything. So I mean, I don't understand why it's so bad.
No, let us not go to the intellectual other ideas. Let us be clear of this idea. Just answer me. Who is your forefather? According to evolution theory.
Like it's essentially like the apes. It comes down to that, and apes is we grew from apes, but they were before us. They're basically like our ancestors.
No, I am not able to understand what you say.
Coming from apes.
Apes, same thing, gorilla, monkeys.
Chimpanzees,
Yeah.
from the monkeys. Once you know your forefathers are monkeys, how is it possible for you to evolve? Once you think your forefathers are from that source, you have no higher ideal. You have no higher ideal. There are two things you need to understand: fact and truth. Fact is about the past. Truth is about the future. So if you understand, according to Darwin's theory, your forefathers are chimpanzees, you will be satisfied in the level which you are living. Oh, we are much more than chimpanzees. Nothing much to be done. Only when you understand you are from divine, you are asking for the facts and proofs. If you just look back a little bit, our forefathers were never chimpanzees, they were rishis. Only in the West you are taught from the young age our forefathers are animals. In the East you are always given the idea, not only idea, truth. Your forefathers are rishis who were able to do everything just by the thought, just by the word, just by the one Shana means the
Moment.
in 1 second, in one moment, they could create a world or destroy a world. Don't think all these things are stories. There are so many proofs. Today they are proving atomic bomb existed in the name of Brahmastra. What you think as Brahmastra, what you hear in the name of Brahmastra in Mahabharata is atomic bomb. Because in the Kurukshetra they tested the sand. There is very clear proof that atomic war has happened in that place. The place where the Mahabharata Yuddha happened, in that place they tested the sand. The same effect of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is found there. So whatever our ancient masters had, those science is not a simple thing. If you look even factually, our forefathers are God. Our forefathers were divine. It is from them we descended. It is from them we came down. So real ideal is not the chimpanzee, but the God. So Hinduism very clearly proves, not only speaks, very clearly proves you have come down from the God or the rishis or the enlightened ones. Your ideal is supposed to go back to that state.
So how do you think we just appeared one day?
Yeah, do you think just
No.
the gods just put us on the earth
No.
just one day, or
No.
how does that process happen?
When the in the mind of a God, when the desire to create the humanity appeared, when the desire appeared, 3 levels of beings have appeared on the planet Earth. One is filled with desire, another one is filled with desire and creativity, third one is filled with creativity. These 3 levels of beings have appeared on this in the planet Earth. When the desire appeared in the mind of the God or in the mind of the enlightened ones, if you live only filled with desire, your life will be very 3rd grade. If you live desire and creativity, your life will be 2nd grade. If you live only with creativity, your life will be 1st grade. If you are a 1st grade person, you will again reach the same source of divine. You will go back. If you are a 2nd grade person, you are called Kshatriya. If you are a 3rd grade person, you are called Sudra. The 1st grade are called Brahmana, 2nd grade are called Kshatriya, 3rd grade are called Shudra. It is not that according to community, it is not by birth, it is by character. If you are filled with creativity, you are a Brahmana. If you are filled with creativity and desire, you are Kshatriya and Vaishya, both are 2nd category. If you are filled with only with desire, you are Shudra. So when you understand these 3 levels, you live according to that. Then if you are a Shudra, you are supposed to go to Vaishya level. If you are Vaishya, you are supposed to go to Brahmana level. If you are a Brahmana, you reach the enlightened level. You go back to the source. It is not that on one day suddenly you appear. It is in either any way, in any plane you appear according to your decision.
So
Your decision also plays a role in that.
So all people started in India?
No.
Did people in
No,
different places?
in different places. But the evolution of mind, evolution of intelligence happened only in India. Going back to its original source, or reaching back to the original enlightenment, this happened only in India. Deeper explanation on karma from the answer given in the book on spirituality. Yes. Read out. What deeper explanation you want?
I just didn't really understand this.
It's your question?
Yeah.
Read out. Shall I read out? What is karma? Whenever an action has been started but not completed, there is a force that pulls you to complete it, to fulfill the experience. That is karma. Any unfulfilled desire can act as that force. Even if you drink a glass of water without entering the experience fully, it will leave you with a sense of dissatisfaction. This dissatisfaction draws you to enter into another body and repeat the very same actions again and again till you get fulfillment. The tension or pull which you experience is karma. See, any desire, if you have not enjoyed totally a music, you want to listen, but you have not listened totally, half of the song you are listening by the time some other work has come. Then you go to attend that work, again you come back, you will be pulled to listen the same song after your work is over. Even at the time of work, even at the time when you are working, your mind will be on that song. Then only when you come back and listen to that song properly, totally, when you have completed listen, when you have totally enjoyed, only then you forget about that song. The pull which brings you back to enjoy or fulfill it, to complete that experience, is what is karma. You understand now? Now, most of the time, when you enjoy anything in the world, the restlessness, inner restlessness, will not let you enjoy anything. Either guilt or inner restlessness. Inner restlessness will express in so many ways, even the shaking leg. It proves the inner restlessness. We are inside restless. wherever you go, the shaking of the head or the way in which our mind works, the way in which you enjoy the thing. You see, before you start enjoying the thing itself, you will start getting the guilt. What you are doing is something wrong. What you are undergoing is something wrong. If you have the guilt before enjoying, if you have or the restlessness before enjoying itself, you want to reach the end of it. Before having the first food, first taste itself, you want to go to the end of it. So if you have the restlessness to reach the end or the guilt to start, if you have the guilt, the starting itself will be troubled. If you have the restlessness, you will be trying to reach the end. Over greed or the fear to start, both will not allow you to enjoy anything. So when these two are there, no desire will be fulfilled. You will be pulled back again to fulfill the same desire. So as long as you are not fulfilling your desires, not fulfilling your life, you will see again and again, you will be pulled back, you will be brought back to the earth to enjoy it. This is the explanation which I give for karma. Karma is not a fate or vidhi as you call it. According to my experience, there is no such thing as vidhi. The future is left completely open by existence. It is we who decide. If you live the present moment fully, without worrying about the past and the future, fully, deeply, truly, that is enough. You can free of karma. Karma cannot touch you. Drop the restlessness and drop the guilt for anything. Then you will see. You will be totally in the present moment. You will be totally able to receive it. You will be totally able to live it. Then no karma touches you. You will go beyond the karma. Do you understand? Do you have to be Hindu to be liberated? No. If you are a Hindu, you cannot be liberated. When you lose the idea that you are a Hindu, only then you can be liberated. So liberation does not need any pre-qualification to be a Hindu or to be something. Follow as deeply as possible the rules of Sanatana Dharma. When I say the word Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism is more like a science. In the outer world, how the science existed. In the science, you know, very clear rules, regulation, facts, figures are there. Just like that, the rules of the inner world, inner science is what we call Sanatana Dharma, or in modern days Hinduism. The outer religion is science, inner science is religion. So as far as Hinduism is concerned, it's the inner science. It has nothing to do with some religion.